Napoleon Bonaparte's rapid ascent through the ranks of the French military had already made him a prominent figure in the tumultuous era of the French Revolution. By 1798, he had achieved the rank of general and had amassed a substantial following due to his military successes in Italy. However, his ambitions extended beyond continental Europe, and he was eager to establish his own empire. With this goal in mind, he set his sights on Egypt, a land that held both historical significance and strategic value. Napoleon's decision to launch an expedition to Egypt was not purely motivated by territorial expansion. Several factors contributed to this audacious endeavor. First, Egypt was seen as a gateway to the wealth of the Orient, a land of ancient civilizations and untold treasures. Second, it was strategically located at the crossroads of Asia, Africa, and Europe, which made it a crucial piece of the geopolitical puzzle of the time. The French government, under the Directory, also believed that an Egyptian campaign could help divert Napoleon's immense popularity and ambitions away from domestic politics. C. Scientific and cultural exploration. An often overlooked aspect of the Egyptian campaign was its strong emphasis on scientific and cultural exploration. Accompanying Napoleon's army were a group of savants, scholars, from various fields, including archaeology, botany, and engineering. Their mission was to study and document the ancient and exotic culture of Egypt, uncovering its mysteries and historical treasures. The discoveries made during this time had a lasting impact on European understanding of Egypt and the broader study of Egyptology. 2. The departure and arrival. In May 1798, a massive French fleet under Napoleon's command, known as the Armée d'Orient, set sail from Toulon, France, and embarked on the Egyptian campaign. The French Armada was an impressive sight, consisting of hundreds of ships and over 30,000 soldiers, including infantry, cavalry, and artillery. Their journey to Egypt was fraught with challenges, from battling British naval forces to dealing with harsh weather and logistical issues. Nevertheless, the fleet managed to reach the coast of Egypt and, on July 1, 1798, the French forces landed at Marabou, near Alexandria. A Battle of the Pyramids. Napoleon's arrival in Egypt was met with little resistance. The local Mamluk rulers, who had long been in power, initially offered little opposition to the French invaders. However, this period of calm did not last long, as Napoleon's forces began their march towards Cairo. On July 21, 1798, the French and the Mamluks clashed at the Battle of the Pyramids, near the Giza Plateau. The Battle of the Pyramids is a significant episode in the Egyptian campaign. Napoleon's well-trained and disciplined troops, armed with modern weaponry, faced the Mamluk cavalry. The French army's tactics and firepower proved decisive, and they emerged victorious. The Mamluks suffered heavy casualties, and their power in Egypt was severely diminished. B. The Siege of Alexandria. With the Mamluks largely defeated, Napoleon turned his attention to the strategic city of Alexandria. In March 1799, the French laid siege to the city, which was under the control of the Ottoman Empire. The siege dragged on for several months and involved intense fighting and naval bombardments. However, in August 1799, the French finally captured the city, further solidifying their control over Egypt. 3. The Battle of the Nile. While Napoleon was consolidating his rule in Egypt, a significant naval engagement was unfolding in the Mediterranean. This battle would come to be known as the Battle of the Nile and would have far-reaching consequences for the French campaign in Egypt. 8. The British Challenge. The British Royal Navy, under the command of Admiral Horatio Nelson, was determined to thwart Napoleon's plans in Egypt. In August 1798, the British fleet intercepted the French Armada in Aboukir Bay. The resulting Battle of the Nile was a pivotal moment in the campaign. B. The battle unfolds. The Battle of the Nile was a brutal and hard-fought engagement. Nelson's innovative tactics, which involved a daring and unexpected approach, took the French by surprise. The battle raged for several hours, and both sides suffered heavy losses. Ultimately, the British emerged victorious, with the French fleet suffering significant damage and loss of life. The defeat at the Battle of the Nile was a devastating blow to Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. It not only severed his communication with France but also left his forces in Egypt isolated and vulnerable. The British blockade of the Egyptian coast further isolated the French, making resupply and reinforcement difficult. 4. The struggles in Egypt. With the British Navy blockading the coast and the Ottoman Empire preparing to retake Egypt, Napoleon found himself facing increasing challenges. The French occupation of Egypt had sparked local resistance, and Napoleon had to deal with a series of uprisings and insurrections. Moreover, his troops faced diseases such as the bubonic plague, which took a heavy toll on their ranks. Ottoman threat. In early 1799, the Ottoman Empire declared war on France, seeing an opportunity to drive the French out of Egypt. The Ottomans, under the leadership of Grand Vizier Yusuf Pasha, launched an invasion of Egypt with the support of the British. This marked a significant turning point in the campaign. Battle of Mount Tabor. Napoleon's response to the Ottoman threat was swift and effective. He defeated the Ottoman forces in the Battle of Mount Tabor in April 1799. This victory temporarily halted the Ottoman advance into Egypt and secured French control over the region. However, the overall situation remained precarious, with the British blockade still in place. The elusive triumph. Napoleon's stay in Egypt was marked by both triumphs and tribulations. He implemented various reforms and modernization efforts in the country, which had a lasting impact on Egypt's development. His campaign also contributed to the development of Egyptology, with scholars studying and documenting the ancient culture and monuments of Egypt. However, as the situation in Europe changed with the rise of new coalitions and alliances, Napoleon's focus shifted away from Egypt. In August 1799, he departed Egypt for France, leaving the campaign in the hands of his subordinates. This marked the beginning of the end of the Egyptian campaign as Napoleon turned his attention to his political ambitions in France. The end of the Egyptian campaign. As Napoleon left Egypt, the campaign faced further challenges. French forces in Egypt, led by generals such as Jean-Baptiste Kleber, continued to face the Ottoman threat. The situation deteriorated, and the French position in Egypt became increasingly untenable. In March 1801, Kleber signed the Convention of Alexandria, which led to the withdrawal of French forces from Egypt under certain conditions. However, the terms of the Convention of Alexandria were not fully honored, and in June 1801, Kleber was assassinated by a discontented Syrian. This event plunged the French expedition into further chaos. Nevertheless, the British, under the command of General Ralph Abercrombie, succeeded in defeating the French and the remaining Mamluks at the Battle of Alexandria in March 1801. The defeat at Alexandria marked the end of the Egyptian campaign for the French. In September 1801, a final agreement, the capitulation of Alexandria, was signed, leading to the evacuation of French troops from Egypt. 6. The legacy of Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. Impact on Egypt. Napoleon's campaign had a profound and lasting impact on Egypt. While it was a short-lived episode in Egyptian history, it brought about significant changes. The introduction of modern European concepts and technologies, as well as the study of ancient Egypt, contributed to the country's development and cultural heritage. The influence of the French campaign is still visible in Egypt today, particularly in the field of Egyptology and the study of its rich history. The rise of Napoleon. While the Egyptian campaign did not achieve its primary goal of securing Egypt as a base for French expansion into the Middle East, it had a significant impact on Napoleon's career. Despite the campaign's ultimate failure, Napoleon managed to turn it into a story of heroism and daring, which further increased his popularity in France. In 1799, he staged a coup and became first consul, consolidating his power and setting the stage for his later proclamation as emperor. Shifting European alliances. The French campaign in Egypt also had broader implications for the European balance of power. Napoleon's absence from Europe during the campaign had allowed his enemies to regroup and form new alliances. By the time he returned to France in 1799, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. The campaign indirectly contributed to the rise of the Second Coalition against France and the subsequent European conflicts known as the Napoleonic Wars. D. The influence of Egyptomania. Napoleon's expedition to Egypt, with its accompanying scholars and discoveries, fueled a wave of Egyptomania in Europe. The fascination with ancient Egypt's culture and artifacts influenced art, fashion, and architecture during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. The Rosetta Stone, discovered by French scholars in 1799, played a crucial role in deciphering hieroglyphics and further deepening European interest in Egyptology.
Napoleon's Egyptian campaign was a daring and audacious venture that had profound and far-reaching consequences. It combined military objectives with cultural exploration, leaving an indelible mark on the history of Egypt and the broader geopolitical landscape of Europe. While the campaign did not result in a lasting French presence in Egypt, its impact on the study of Egyptology and the rise of Napoleon as a political force cannot be overstated. The Egyptian campaign remains a captivating chapter in the annals of military history, a story of ambition, struggle, and discovery that continues to intrigue and inspire to this day.